Special education is a career that is in high demand. A career in special education offers a rare opportunity to have a career that is filled with fun, freedom, creativity, challenge and growth, both as a professional and as an individual. Across the country, the demand for special educators has increased significantly. The changing demographics in Virginia and nationally demand that educators are prepared to work with students and families who are culturally and linguistically diverse. These demographics are expected to change even more in the next several decades. Increasingly, Virginia students with disabilities do not see teacher role models that reflect racial or ethnic diversity. In Virginia, 14% of the special education teachers are racially or linguistically diverse compared to 34% of special education students. Students with disabilities vary greatly in their needs. For example, students may have learning, academic, cognitive, physical, emotional, behavioral, healthcare, or multiple needs. Special educators work collaboratively with general educators, related service providers, for example, speech language, physical or occupational therapy, and families to ensure students receive an appropriate education. After I graduated from the School of Education here, I started teaching in Newport News at Natia Woodry Midland High School, and now I've just been appointed the principal of J.P. King Middle School in Franklin City. And so I'm really excited, and I think the School of Education really prepared me for the leadership positions that I'm currently in now, and I know
I'm hoping to finish up with the doctorate degree in May 2012 and then pursue my dream, which is to charter a school for African American males.
Wow.
Exactly. It actually started in the field looking at different subgroups that were overrepresented in the area of special education. And at the time I didn't know it, but that actually planted a seed which has been watered over the years, and it just continues to grow. When I look back at that and look back on my experiences beginning in the master's program here with special education, is exactly where that vision was birthed.
How was your experience coming through the program as a woman of color? I mean, we both have that in common for sure. I mean, how did your experience, you know, tailor you to go into not only education, but then also leadership positions? But how did you feel coming through the program? As
an undergrad and being a woman of color, I found it to be a little difficult in that the number of minorities on campus at that time, African Americans specifically, probably was in the number of maybe around 115 or so.
Wow.
Which can be difficult for some people. And I did have some friends who, after the first semester of their freshman year, did not return because they attended predominantly African American high schools, and so it was difficult for them. But what I did was I tried to just tap into what the college community campus had to offer for minority students. So I became a member of the Black Student Organization, and as a second semester freshman, I actually pledged a predominantly African American sorority, Zeta Phi Beta. I also became a member of the gospel choir, and there also were some faculty members around who were here to support us in attempting to prepare myself to come into the master's program to decide whether I wanted to do it or not. I was very upfront with her and very honest with her about that experience that I had. And we had a very frank conversation, and she allowed me to just express how I felt. And we talked about that, and she assured me that there would be other people who were coming in, minority students. But what I found was there were minority students in the cohort, but the size of the cohort also was different because, as I've stated before, there was a closeness and a family type feeling. But I was always given the opportunity to be myself. I felt comfortable. I was received and welcomed, and it was just a different experience. It was absolutely just an experience that I would not trade for anything in the world.
Because when I went to a historically Black college and university, I went to Bennett College in Greensboro, and so coming here was a little bit different. We had a very, I like to call them compelling conversation to talk about, you know, what the environment was like here. Because I'm born and bred here in Virginia, you know, lived in Hampton all my life. And so I didn't know much about the College of William and Mary, but once she finished talking to me about the school, because I was interested always in going into special education, there was something from my undergrad experience that I saw a need, and when I see a need, I always want to go there. You're not going to have as many experiences like you had undergrad, so let me put that up front. I said, well, you know, tell me a little bit about the program and the special education program, and tell me what I can be expecting as far as your expectations for me as a student, but also, you know, what's the cohort going to be like? And I enjoyed the closeness factor as well, because we worked together, but not only that, we challenged and we pushed each other.
Absolutely.
And that's what really drew me to the program.
I think the program actually prepares you to be a leader. And principals love special education teachers who want to go on to be leaders.
I am now the department chair of special ed at my school.
Wow.
And I interviewed against several other candidates, but I know it was my master's degree from William & Mary that really helped get my foot in the door.
A lot of work. It was 10 months of very difficult work, but in the end it was well worth it.
I think my student teaching experience really prepared me for going into taking over my own classroom. Understand, I like what you said about families too, because you know, when you have the child, it's not just the child, it's the family too.
Absolutely.
And so understanding how to work with families, that's another thing that I would say would be a major, you know, thumbs up for the program. You can have a lasting impact on the lives of students with disabilities and their families. Apply to the College of William & Mary School of Education graduate programs in special education and become a special educator.